So yeah, so Bryony,
Hey.
welcome. It's so nice to have you here for Behind the Photobook. It's really interesting because we've never really had, all our talks have kind of just been on photographers and people making sort of artist books. But what I really want to sort of delve into is the people that are behind everything, you know, what keeps this kind of industry going. And as a distributor, I think it's really interesting for people to be able to work out like what is a distributor, how does it all work. I think there's so many stages in terms of like once you've shot the work, made the book, where does it then go? How does it kind of live on?
It's a bit of an unknown for lots of people.
It's kind of crazy. So I just wanted to know a little bit sort of what your backstory was. How did you kind of get into photography and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I'm not a photographer, never done photography in a big way, maybe some like little experiments when I was younger, but I studied illustration at Brighton, and then when I moved to London I was doing freelance work. I also got a job at Artwords bookshop.
Okay, yeah, which is just up on Broadway Market.
And there was one on Rivington Street.
Yeah, which has moved now, right?
Yeah. So I was working at both shops, and it was there that I realised that I had much more of an interest in books than making any work myself. And I really enjoyed meeting people and talking about books and talking to customers. And so that was like the initial, this is what I want to do.
Okay. And did you know anything about like distribution stuff before that? Like,
No.
did you think like, where do all these books come from?
No, I know. I guess like I didn't. I guess there must have been a point where I thought of it, and I thought like, what are the careers in this world? It's not like you can easily run your own bookshop, or publishing felt a bit too much of a leap for me.
Okay.
So I was seeing sales reps come in, and they were all really nice, and I thought, maybe this is something that I would really enjoy doing.
Right.
So Ben, who runs Artwords, he let me sit in on sales meetings.
Okay.
And that was very generous of him, and I was so I sort of shadowed him, seeing how it was all working. And then I started hunting around for sales reps jobs,
right,
and started working at Anten Books. And then was there for 12 years.
Wow.
So
That's
it's
really
a real
long
time. And now it's like I just can't imagine doing anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is a distributor? How does it all work? Like, what is your role in the whole sort of thing?
Yeah, so the distributor is in communication with the publisher and in communication with the bookshop.
Okay.
And they also either run a warehouse or outsource a warehouse.
Right.
So we do make like the connection between the book publisher and the bookshop logistically.
Okay.
And then we're also doing like the sales, so we're sort of matching up the books with the right bookshop.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But
and so how are you? So for instance, if I'm a photographer and I want to get my book out into the world, am I coming to you directly? If I don't have a publisher, I've just self-published a photo book, what's the kind of the connection with that there?
Yeah. So I do get emails from people that have made books themselves independently, totally independently, and they will get in touch. And we're mainly working with publishers, but then there are also independent publishers. We have like a category on our in our catalogue that's independently published. Okay. So we're just dealing directly with the artist or the person that's made the book.
Right.
I often get emails from people that have just made things themselves. And
I guess that's kind of like, so how do you, so there's always kind of, I guess there's like you have the artist, the publisher, the distributor, the bookshop. Like how does that all sort of financially sort of structure, I guess, is kind of an interesting thing, because I think like if you're self-publishing a book, then you put a lot of your own money into something, and you probably want to, I think a lot of people maybe think, okay, I'm just going to take all the books in a bag and I'm going to walk around all the bookshops and try and get stuff in. But the help, I guess, of a distributor is that you already have that connection, and it means that you can, like you said, direct people or direct that book to the right kind of bookshop.
Yeah.
So what would the sort of structure be of, I guess, those 4 points, the artist, the publisher, the distributor,
so
bookshop?
Actually, I don't know. I guess the publisher and the artist, that's
would have
between
their
them.
own kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So either royalties or like a certain, maybe they're paid in an amount of books.
Okay.
Or they get an upfront payment.
Yeah.
But with the distributor, bookshop and publisher, let's say, like it could be publisher or independent publisher.
Yeah.
They set, well, with us, they set the retail price. So I do explain this to people, that it's really important to know your outgoings, and that will include obviously the printing and then getting the books to a warehouse. So I kind of advise people, like, work out what that is and then work backwards
before you're doing your RRP.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Exactly. So and for some people they're like, well, I'm not going to make any money out of it, and some people are like, I'm willing to take a bit of a loss and then see how it goes, and perhaps the second print run is where they make their money.
Right, okay.
But so we pay 40% to the publisher. We take 20%, and the bookshop takes 40%.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's like that's very standard.
Yeah.
So yeah, that those figures are transparent from the offset, so that the publisher knows, like, okay, so I need to think about this and this, and then set the price.
No, I think that's really interesting, because I think, like, sometimes if you're just going directly into the bookshop, then it's kind of, majority of the time it's like a 60-40 kind of split, I guess, between the bookshop and the artist 60 and the bookshop 40, or some places are 50-50 and that sort of thing. And I think it's like, obviously, if you make a zine and it's only £10, then once you sort of put a distributor in the middle of that,
it makes no sense. And
really
there's
difficult.
some things that I totally think, and sometimes I say to people, like, it would make no sense for us to get involved at this point. I think some people think, and sometimes this is fine, that they want to give stuff to us because it helps sort of it's good,
raise the profile,
exactly,
and that sort of thing.
Exactly. And then but I think in some cases, if you've made a book and you've made like a print run of 50, and you have like a special bookshop that you have really like a good relationship with, I don't know, like say it was your book and you were going to tender books and you were like, can you sell these? And then you deal with them, and then it makes more sense in some cases, because you can just go there with them, like, I don't know, it's kind of,
and then you just invoice every whenever and stuff comes through.
I think generally shops do prefer to go through distributors. Just because it streamlines things. But in some cases, it's just like, I remember actually always asking you about distribution when we were at book fairs, being like, do you want some distribution? You're like, I don't think it made sense.
That was the thing for me. So I guess that's like a point that I was sort of saying, that if you are making like an artist book and you've only made 50, like, do you have a limit in how many you take?
No is the answer.
So you could take 5.
Well, I mean, I'd prefer not to, because we have to like photograph it, and then it's like,
right,
okay, this, there's like a lot of processes that goes into like getting it onto our system, as it were, and so I prefer to like people dealing in over 20.
Okay.
Sort of, I guess like a standard photo book, like maybe sort of like 40-60 copies.
If a normal run, I guess, is between like 2 to 350, I guess. Sort of,
This is not for publishers. No, those are often a bit bigger.
Okay.
Because they have some like weight behind them, and and also like a lot of them have ISBNs, which makes life easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But let's not go
not go into that whole ISB.
Yeah,
I can't
sorry,
even
it's
get
so
my head
boring.
around ISB and code thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So what? So with public knowledge books, what did you want to focus on when sort of bringing this? Obviously, you've been at Anthem for a really long time, and what did you want to sort of? Was there anything that you felt was missing to the table? Did you feel that people were being either not represented enough, or what did you want to sort of focus on with that?
Yeah, I guess like doing public knowledge was a really good opportunity to refine things, refine what I was doing before, and we're working with lots of the same publishers that I was working with before, and so it was good to sort of there were people that I really enjoyed working with, and that I feel like they have a lot of integrity, and what they're doing is important, and so it was like that was a good basis for things. And then what I'm trying to do is find publishing by minority voices, and really push for that, and that's we're meeting lots of people that are doing that, and that's it's.
Do you think that's something? I mean, obviously, we kind of know that that's missing from the industry drastically. How does that sort of? How do you see that in sort of book world? Is there kind of? Do you feel that is growing? Do you think that obviously it's important to get as many voices into the pot as possible?
I think.
And how have you been finding publications by?
I guess. I think there is more awareness, like that like I don't know, especially in the photo book world, there was a lot of one voice,
right? And
it was not. It was kind of.
We've just done a window display for the cafe, and so we have like 400 photo books maybe in the collection now that people have made. And for International Women's Day, we did the whole window display was just going to be all. Women X books, basically. So
that's nice.
Just to have all that in the windows, and so out of 400 books, I think I got about 67. So that kind of shows you in our collection the difference, just even between men and women, not even going into like race. Or,
sure.
Else.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, and I kind of knew that, but actually sort of laying it out and sort of seeing what our collection holds, I was like, wow, this definitely needs to change a lot. And I don't know if that's just I think
it's everything in general.
Just everything in general.
I think it is, and I'm like, it's good to have the conversation, isn't it? And it's
but zines are probably way different.
Really?
I think.
Really?
Yeah. I think if we went through our zine collection, which is about 800 zines, we'd see a bit more of an even playing field, I think, rather than sort of big,
That's
proper
good.
sort of
compared to,
like the hardbacks and sort of stuff. But I guess zine culture has so much stronger connections.
And that's interesting. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's like the kind of
it's the unrepresented voice.
Yeah, and the subversive and the
because you're not constrained. It's the free press.
Yeah,
so
totally.
That's why you have like the feminists, book library archive and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's just like an incredible resource, and I think it's we have so many cool little resources like that in London, I think, which is really good.
Yeah, it's good to acknowledge. But also I love zines and like lo-fi format publishing, and like just floats my boat anyway. Kind of it's quite hard to sell that stuff on in a big way, but it's not necessarily what it's about. But it's like it's affordable and it's democratic.
So how are you finding stuff? Like are you like on the ground?
It's my secret, so I'm not telling you. I don't know who's listening.
But is it just like going to bookshops, checking what they kind of have, obviously going to book fairs, that sort of thing?
All of those things. And it's like, it's not one place or another. I've actually been using Instagram more. I don't really enjoy Instagram. But actually, it's like, no, this is really useful, and you can find out things obviously much quicker. But yeah, so I go for sales meetings at bookshops, and I take books along to show book buyers, and then when I'm there, I'll see things, or like lots of the book buyers will put me in touch with people who come to them, and they're like, this looks good, but I can't get it directly because I've got a million invoices to kind of juggle. So you should get in touch with Bryony, and then that's how that works a little bit. And book fairs as well, really nice to go and see stuff and discover stuff there.
And what are you sort of looking for when you go to a book fair? Is there sort of like, are you going like with a list of people you want to see, or are you kind of very much just sort of going around judging a book by its cover, picking something up, seeing what sort of fits?
I think a bit of both. Well, I do have, like, I look at the list, and then I tend to like look at I'll go through and like look at who they are and find out more about them if I don't know them, and sort of try and familiarize myself with what they're doing. And then at the book fairs, I probably look insane because I just walk around and don't pick anything up, because I find you just stop looking after a while if you're kind of go into hard and spend an hour at the first table. So I try to sort of like look around and then circle back round, and it's really nice because you get to talk to people. And I mean, I'm sure you find it really useful at the fairs, like the amount you learn.
I think for me as well, I do better at book fairs rather than selling books online, because everything's so tactile. Like people have to feel the paper, they have to see the binding, they have to have that reaction with the story behind the book, which maybe can't be conveyed as well online. So like, I might release a book, make 50 copies, put it online, maybe only sell a handful, and then I go to a book fair and I can,
so cool,
sort of double that, sort of thing, which is like, I just which I really enjoy. And I think that's what I think going forward, I'd like to sort of try and work with distributors more, because it's just the reach, isn't it? Really? That's sort of
it. It's a way to scale it. For sure. I think like the amount of conversations I have with publishers who are like, oh, well, we have been doing our own distribution for a bit, as though I'm going to be like, God damn you. But I think that it's really nice because you get to know your the buyers, you get to go and see what's going on in the shops, so I think that's really useful to do that initially, but then there will come a point where it's like that's not sustainable, and you've got other things to do than going to the post office like 3 times a day.
So what's the connections now with, obviously, since the B word? How does everything work in terms of, are you just focusing mostly on UK stuff, or is everything still going out to Europe? How do you connect with European publishers? How do you connect with people that may be in like books going to like Japan or the US or the States? How does that kind of work?
Well, it's like it's unfortunate, but the bookshops have adapted really well, and I think it's depressing, and it's like, it's ridiculous the amount of paperwork that goes alongside it. That it's quite infuriating, actually, isn't it? But I mean, there are solutions that I'm looking into. There might be ways that we can ease the books getting to the bookshops. But for now, it is like the bookshops have to pay a customs charge.
Right, okay.
And so they add that onto the price of the book, I guess, a lot of times. So the price goes up. With publishers sending us stock from Europe, it's a lot easier because it's like in bulk. And so, the customs charge is like, I guess, absorbed into a higher quantity of books. Just adapting.
Well, I guess it's like, for individual photographers who have maybe, say, self-published a book, they made a run of 300, they're going to distribute it themselves. that's, I think, when I ever look through, like, there's Facebook groups of photographers and stuff like that, and they're just like, yeah, that's the thing. Anyone buying in Europe or whatever, it just like they just can't do it anymore. You know, and I think that's like, it's such a heavy stone to get over in terms of like, how can you, you know, being on this island, how are you meant to get your work, further across? So I think like, you know, a distributor for that kind of thing is like, you know, really important, because you have those network, and you have the knowledge of what's the best way to price this in terms of, if we send this many books, it's going to cost this much money. It's got to get through customs. We don't want stuff being posted back, like all that sort of thing. So that your knowledge for that is like really, you know,
that's very
isn't it, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, I mean, that's so useful for publishers to not have to worry about. Because do you send much to Europe yourself? Like,
no. So for Photobook Cafe Bookshop, we're pretty much solely sending out within the UK. We get a few orders, and everything we just do is just based on the weight of the book, you know. And then if someone obviously orders a book from Australia, it's, you know, we calculate that, you know, accordingly to what the weight is and how far away the person is to sort of send stuff to. But I guess we're not really at that sort of scale yet as we sort of grow the shop. And we've also started this online marketplace, so that allows you as an individual to put your product on our shop.
Nice.
And then if you sell that, then the order just goes straight through to you. So you keep hold of the stock, you keep hold of everything.
It's like drop shipping kind of thing.
It's kind of like, it's like an eBay or like an Etsy for bookshops, for booksellers. So especially if you're like a self-publisher who maybe doesn't have a huge amount of traffic to your own website, but you can be on a website that holds lots of other self-published photo books, then our hope is that people visit that and maybe find stuff that they wouldn't find in a normal bookshop, because maybe that person doesn't live in London, or you know,
I think that's a really nice idea. That's really nice.
I think it kind of works. We want to we keep the percentages as, you know, as low as we can and stuff like that. So that's what we're kind of doing with that. How do you see the world, I guess, of photography books at the minute? Is there the reason I bring this up is I've just got, I didn't know if you saw it when you walked in. We have like 3 new books that are going onto the website, and all of them are orange.
Oh right, I wondered what that was. I thought it was like orange.
And I'm kind of interested if you notice things like trends and design aspects within photo books year to year, and if there is, like in fashion, like a trend of what a book should look like, what color it should be. If there's, you know, obviously some publishers are flavor of the month. There's like some publishers are doing a lot, and then suddenly that kind of changes. I think there's like a famous kind of like Steidl quote that like Steidl was the person of like the 90s, and then possibly, let's say, like Mac or something is
really?
Like, you know, like a leader of that sort of thing. And then all the books maybe kind of follow that design aspect because of the lead publisher. And I just wondered if you'd sort of seen trends throughout over a decade.
Definitely. Gosh, I mean, maybe
what do you think what the trend was for 2023, I guess?
Oh god. That's so hard. You know, like, it's probably easier to see things like from a distance. So now I think about like how long I was selling like books and zines at Anten, like in the early noughties, that looked like American Apparel adverts.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. Because I actually remember like showing it to some stuff I had to like a female book buyer, and she's just like, "What's this?" And I was like,
god! If you go back on like an old like We Are Lucky, like my old Tumblrs. And
really?
That sort of stuff,
okay, no.
Because that's just like sharing things, you know. But it's just like, but it is like what I guess early 2000s. It was anyone with a point and shoot camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's in their 20s or teens, and they're all just photographing their friends. Everyone's like smoking weed, getting naked, jumping in the back of trucks, and so all that sort of stuff. And who was big at the minute? Like Vice was massive. Terry Richardson. All that kind of horrible. You know, it's just all sort of like sleazy. At the forefront of just like, and then, you know, the fashion was Flash, a white wall. There's your
yeah,
kind of picture.
totally.
And now that's sort of what I guess we see in photography is medium format, using an RZ, low angle portraiture, and making very beautiful, heavyweight kind of books that are not so DIY.
Right, like less throwaway kind of
throwaway,
yeah.
Making books that are, 60 pages. Plate on the right hand side.
Bit more sort of consideration.
Kind of thing.
Well, not consideration. Yeah.
But
it's different.
But that's also to do with growing up.
Yeah. I was thinking this. I was like, is public knowledge just like a grown up selection, more grown up? There's still some really silly stuff in there, but like, it might be a bit of that.
Well, I guess
as well.
Just what we notice.
Yeah, exactly. I think because I've seen stuff that looks quite a lot like the stuff that we were just describing in like a new young group of people photographing their young, fun, sexy friends, and I'm just like,
yeah. I mean, tits and ass. That's what we're trying to sell. So I just wanted to go through with you. So you've brought 3 books along with us. So what's the sort of story behind these ones? We're filming this from up here as well, so we can see.
Great.
So we've got Liz Johnson, Arthur.
Yes. So annoyingly, I brought like older books, but I wanted to bring these because this is a teaser of all of these publishers are making new books with these artists.
Okay.
So this is like upcoming. Stay tuned. I love this one. Bjerke, who's Bakri, who used to work at Koenig Books. I don't know. Yeah. Really interesting. We had actually the catalogue's very varied, and we had a really nice book by Pippa Garner, which was but this one, anyway, sorry, waffling. This was made like several years ago now. I don't know the publishing date, but Russian-born Ghanaian photographer, and she's photographing Black communities around the world, and it's just like, I just love the selection. Have you seen this one before?
I don't think I have. I mean, I must have seen it in. I think I must have seen it in a bookshop, but I might not have. We don't have it in the library.
This I would bring you a copy, but this is like sold out now, and so we only managed to get one.
And what do you think about, like, do you see, I guess we're sort of covering the trends, but like, what is a good, do you feel that you have a good knowledge of like what works as a photo book in terms of like the size it should be? Size is interesting as well because size adds into how far you can get it. If it can live in a bookshop on a bookshelf.
Totally, yeah.
And what the edition should be. Are you getting books sent back to you? Are the editions not selling out? Like, if the edition's too high? Like, what do you see any sort of reasons? Those kind of things, basically.
I think, like you said, some really large format books are, when I get them, I'm kind of like, oh God, because it's just really difficult to ship, and they become very expensive. But for some things, they work beautifully, and so it's not kind of really one exact rule, but I think
I guess it's not a rule, but I guess just things for people to be conscious
to think about. So of course, white covers with just text on the front, I do not enjoy, because they get dirty in the bookshop. So when someone's looking through, it's not like a bookshop does not have a sample copy of each book. So every book that they are given by us, they are intending on selling. So if it's got a really delicate cover with lots of pullouts and inserts and stuff, lovely, but practically they will have to keep it wrapped up, and no one can really, it's like, I don't know, there's smaller bookshops that are really good at probably offering those sorts of books to sell, but in a general bookshop, like, I don't know, like the photographers gallery that has like a quite a large footfall, it's the books take a bit of a battering, and things that are easily damaged, that can be a problem. Also, books that are completely anonymous, like there's no sort of blurb text. This actually doesn't have a blurb on it, which
no, but it has the person's name. We do a lot of zine workshops, and it always surprises me how people, when they finish the zine, haven't put their name on it.
Really?
And it's funny that, like, I guess maybe you're like in it and you kind of think it's yours. You're maybe you're not making a handful of them, but I think it's always quite an interesting thing where there's like they don't add the name or enough like other information, which is kind of funny, but a passing comment.
Yeah. I think, I guess sometimes I judge things a bit harshly, but why would people know? But I would think, like, you're a customer in a bookshop, what, like, cool.
Bit cooler.
Yeah, nice. Like, think how you browse books. If it's not a well-known name of a photographer, what is inviting them to pick
it up off the shelf?
To pick it up. And I think, like, I love the cover of this one. I really love the cover. That is just such a good picture. And
really nice,
really handsome looking.
Cool. What do we have next?
So Deanna Dykeman, this
I love this book.
Really nice. So that's Chose Commune. Really like this publisher. Their catalogue's very diverse. They're really good with photography books, but then they also have some other like books with ceramic artists and like collected work and photographs like Stephen Alcock, and this is her driving 7 hours to visit her parents, and they always waved her goodbye, and it's just the sweetest thing.
It is. It's a really, because I think everyone can relate to it.
Yes.
Weirdly.
Yeah.
Majority of everyone can
totally
relate to it in some sort of sense, even if it's a friend or a family member or whatever. It's that idea of getting in the car and waving goodbye, looking in the rearview mirror, seeing the person still stand there, that kind of thing. Even if you're like getting on a train or whatever. Yeah. So it's such a beautiful story, and it's also so nice to see people age as well. And then obviously we have the sort of sad factor at the back. One of her parents isn't there anymore.
It's really generous as well, I think, because I'd imagine that I just think like how lovely that she shared this, and you can feel the love there. It's so she's doing another book with Chose Commune, and that's coming to us soon, and that's also pictures from her family, sort of quite like domestic scenes, but again they're just like really heartwarming.
And what do you see a lot of like archive? Is it a lot of archive books at the minute?
Sorry, that would have been a good answer. So archival stuff.
Because I guess if we think of like someone like Stanley Barker or something like that, they do a lot of like finding a photographer, delving into their archives, and putting that sort of thing out. I
haven't sort of seen what they've been doing. I remember that like they have some great books, but I haven't seen.
And then obviously you've got like Cafe Royal.
Really cool.
So that's delving into like British, archives of 50s to 90s kind of black and white photography. And I think what we find a lot at the minute, I guess that is a big thing at the minute, is photographers that maybe have been unknown for much of their working lives, and then this archive is found by a publisher. And that's kind of something that I think is and it's kind of a hot ticket, I think.
Yeah, like Vivian Mayer kind of.
Yeah, they're trying to find that sort of thing.
Yeah,
which I think
absolutely.
is kind of interesting.
Definitely. I really like. Do you know Primary Information, the US publisher, and they do like lots of facsimiles of great books from, I guess, like 70s downtown New York, kind of Peter Hajar and Martin Wong, and like it's just nice to bring these books and to a new audience and get them in circulation again, so they're not just like on Amazon for hundreds of pounds.
Yeah, no, definitely. Cool. Love this one.
Oh.
I like how it goes. I didn't realise it. I forgot that it went to colour at the end as well.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, really sweet.
Yeah, really sweet.
Good size.
Yes.
Good
Oh
size
yeah,
for a book.
good size for a book. Definitely.
I had big hands. And then
this one is by Sturm and Drang, Swiss publisher, and this is battered because I take these all around with me to book buyers to show them. So these are like my sample copies that so this one's a bit knackered, but they're like these Swiss youth groups,
cool.
with the like massive teased hair, and these Swiss kids that are like really interested in the 60s, interested in American culture, so they have these like really gnarly like big belt buckles and eagles and Elvis.
This
and
is great with
like
the shoelace.
like the customized Levi's stuff is just and I guess I like this because it's back when perhaps being an outsider was really quite daring, and it was like it wasn't like everyone wanted to be an outsider or kind of different. It was when it was probably quite radical and risky. I don't know.
Do you know the Danny Lyne book, The Bike Riders?
No.
As well, which I think came out on Aperture a few years ago, but they've just made that into a film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's got like I think it's got like Austin Butler and who's the guy that plays Bane? What's his name? Like Bronson. I've forgotten now. Tom Hardy. There we go.
Ah, right. Oh, okay.
It's got Tom Hardy in it. Anyway, but it's all about bikers, and it's influenced by the book because Danny Lyne was a photographer, kind of in the sense of like Hunter S. Thompson, who joined the Hells. Who was not joined the Hells Angels, but documented them.
Yeah, followed them.
Danny Lyne was actually in the Chicago gang bike riders and took pictures of everyone within it. So he was kind of more in it than an actual outsider. I guess, in a sense. But interesting to sort of look back. And then there's also like Bruce Davidson as well, didn't he? He did like the rockers and stuff on the beach and that sort of thing.
Right, yeah. Interesting. So there's really going to be a new one. Actually, I'm just waiting for the sample to photograph, but so that's come in now, but there's a new volume because this is part of, there's 3 volumes. There's this one, there's sports, and there's one of like men in the Mediterranean, like very homoerotic.
Okay.
So the new one is called Rocker, and that's about Swiss rock.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Love this. And then so obviously you also do not just photography, but what else are you distributing through? Yeah,
it's a real broad church. So we've got like, I guess because I'm in touch with the bookshops a lot. I'm listening to what they're selling and like listening to what they're looking for. So that's really useful to sort of see what to get into the catalogue. Got poetry, food.
Food's big at the minute.
Yeah, and there's some like really cool stuff that is like, I don't know, quite offbeat and just like it's not like.
Do you have Tammy Aftab's book?
Why does that ring a bell?
Tammy did The Rice is on the Hob. Has like the green and pink cover, and it was like recipes by her dad. And then, you should check that out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really
that
cool.
sounds cool.
But that connection of photography and food, I think as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, Fat Boy is one of ours, and and that has really nice photography, and it's like the kind of boundaries have changed for photographing food and what like how that can be done, and. So,
I think that because that kind of also links with stuff like football. Football was never really photographed very well or very alternatively. Yeah. And it now has such a huge scene sort of like fashion and football. Yeah. And now we also have things like climbing. I know what you mean. That's kind of like I guess that's a trend in the sense of like climbing mags or like fashionable like climbing, the gear. Outdoor photography. We've
got one called Peak actually.
Peak, they had the launch for their thing.
Did
here
they?
As well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
and that whole sort of like being outside. I think rocks are really popular at the minute.
Yes,
Do
didn't
see,
you
like,
do a
lot of,
book
like,
on rocks recently?
I did like a thing on like, yeah, so I did one on like down in Wales.
Yes, I like that one. I
doing
saw
all
that at
sort of
the
thing.
book fair.
And then like but it's that kind of like land art. And there's been a few exhibitions, I think, like nationally on like land art and social social.
I find that really interesting. Yeah. And I guess like the whole like folk revival thing as well, and people sort of connecting to the land, and it's really interesting to see what I want to say trends, but like what people are interested in buying books on and what they're publishing, and these kind of like themes that come up.
Do you see a lot more of like books that are more like theory based, or like I don't know what, like an example, kind of like we've got like the Photobook, like a history of Volume 1,
nice.
or like this just came out, the Japanese magazines.
Oh, who published that?
Oh, I can't.
Sorry.
Remember.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Gallagher? Okay. Nice. That is a beast.
But do you think that people like? Is there more things for like, not just picture books?
Yes.
But yeah,
for sure. Like we've got 1,000 words.
Oh yeah.
So they're like discussions with. So they've got 2 volumes, writers and curators. So like conversations with them. So like and then we don't distribute them, but like the self-published Be Happy, like little
like the manual,
the readers. Yeah. Like I think there's lots of interesting stuff like that about, where it's I mean, it's like inexhaustible, and it's always interesting, isn't it? I think for and then like of course like really useful for students and people just trying to kind of navigate the whole big wide world of photography, and so
and so I guess on an ending kind of question, what would the process be if someone does want to distribute you? How do they go about it? What's the best way for you to receive some sort of application? Or
I should really get together like some submission guidelines, because I haven't done that yet. So we will address for submissions, physical submissions, coming soon, very soon. But at the moment, it's just via email. So you can email me at bryony@publicknowledgebooks.com, and then what I tend to do is like just shelve them for a bit and then look at them maybe on a Friday, or try and do it like go through them once a week. If you don't hear back from me for like 2 days, please don't chase it up, because I will get around to it. And then but I'm like really welcome people getting in touch, because I can always like say yes or no, or perhaps point them in the right direction.
Is it good just to send pictures of the book itself, or images from inside, or a video? Or
we transfers are annoying, because it's like just a bit of an extra sort of amount of time to do that. But so like a few sample spreads, you don't have to send me the whole book, but like perhaps a PDF with like just a good range of what you will expect from the book. Really importantly, the price that you're thinking of, and then some text that explains the project, love getting submissions, and always happy to have a look and see what we can do.
Cool, nice, exciting. And what's is this kind of just staying with the distribution? Are there any other projects on it? Are you going to start publishing stuff?
I'd love to, but I don't have any time.
No.
But I mean, we're really like, I feel really positive and just motivated, and I've like got renewed energy for stuff, and so there's continuing to sort of hopefully provide good service with the distribution, and like keep going, expand the catalogue, and book fairs. We've got off print.
Cool. Are you
coming up.
doing off print? Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Are you?
I'll be there.
Yeah, nice.
That'd be a good one. And
Um,
also, we're going to go to the one at Peckham 24. as
Oh
well.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
how are
yeah.
you going to do both at the same time?
I've got
One
an
that-
assistant.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I've got
cool.
Alice, who's starting here in April. She's going to be.
Oh.
We're going to split ourselves between the two.
Nice.
Which we've done a few times. Me and Johnny, who does Zone 6
Oh,
as
yeah,
well. We'll have one
yeah.
at one and one at the other, and we'll cycle back and forth.
Really? Oh, that's
Which is
you.
always really fun.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like they should stagger those. Like, but,
Yeah,
I mean,
I kind of like it. It's
It's
kind of
fine.
like funny that you have a south and like west kind
Yeah.
of sort of.
I never make it south.
thing.
I'm always
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
this year I should go. It's like, it's not happening. I'm just
Yeah.
like always full on at the book fair. So yeah, really looking forward to doing off print. I'm going to go to New York Art Book Fair to do some scouting around for publishers and
Cool.
have some meetings and stuff. Yeah,
Busy bee.
busy bee. Yeah.
Cool, Bryony. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank
that was
you.
great.
Thank
And
you.
everybody check out Public Knowledge Books.
Yes.
If you're looking for a distributor, and also just check out their website in general. They have some great books and stuff for sale, as well as magazines and poetry and
Yeah.
everything else. So go check it out. Thanks a lot.